Today's subject is legs and leg anatomy. So, we'll start by discussing the main muscles, their attachment points, and their shapes. Then we will proceed to analyze the form, and this time, instead of using a photo, we will use a drawing by a painter, Karl Brülow. After we finish analyzing, we will start a drawing of our own, so it will be good if you follow. With that said, let's start up. When we draw legs, it is very important to have our pelvis in place. So we have here iliac crest from the pelvis, and a bit of the bone, the side part of the iliac crest, goes inside. And to this part of the iliac crest that sticks out on the figure, the sartorius muscle is attached. This is a thin strip that goes below the knee and connects here. At this point, it connects to the tendon, and this part, this isn't actually just sartorius muscles, tendons. There, as you can see, two others. We'll discuss them later. Now, of course, we have our bone, that peeks out here and goes here. Now, here we have tibia, and you can see that tibia is a little bit asymmetrical. It's wide apart here, and then we have fibula going here, and already we have the beginnings of a rhythm, because this here gives us an axis like this, and the asymmetry of gastrocnemius muscle gives us this line. So this part is higher, this part is lower, and here the other way around. But let's return to our muscles and our bones. So we discussed the main four bones, which is the hip bone, the pelvis, the fibula, and tibia. What we have else is, of course, patella, the kneecap, what we have else is tibial tuberosity, a little bump of bone that is here, and it has actually a functional meaning, because patellar ligament is connected here like this, a strip, and if we draw it from the side, let's draw a little leg diagram here. You will have something like this. So this shape above is the patellar shape, and this is the tibial tuberosity connected with the ligament. Now, what is important here is that this distance, the length of the ligament, is static. So no matter how you move your leg, this distance will remain the same, because this is actually how it's all connected. How the leg remains connected and also retains its ability to bend. Now, if we add the main shape of tibia here, it could be divided into this upper part that is connected to the hip bone and this lower part, which we will shade a little bit. Now we also have a little bit of fat attached here on the sides of the ligament. Now let's return to the muscles for a second and discuss what is above the patella. So we have the quadricep, and we can see the side part and the inner part. So we have vastus medialis muscle that looks like a drop of water, like a tear shape. And then we have the vastus lateralis. And you can already see that our rhythm returned. So now we have this power lower and this part higher. From the main powerful muscles here, we have one remaining, and this is it on the middle. The rectus femoris. So in terms of our shapes, we have knee here. The sartorius muscle goes towards the pelvis. And divides the hip into two parts. The adductors here and the quadricep here. This part lower, this part higher. Now the rectus femoris has a tendon here that looks like this, and it has shape. So when we're dividing to show the planar structure, we'll have a plane here and the upper plane. And only now we have the lateralis and the medialis. And then we have the rectus femoris and the femur. But of course we're lacking some parts. So now what we have on the side is iliotibial tract, but we can see here, we can see it here, we only see how it goes here to the adductor of the side tract. And then we have the muscles of the inner part, the adductor muscle. Here it is, the adductor longus. Usually I call all this part adductors. It's roughly divided into adductor longus, gracilis, and some muscles that will be more easier easily seen from behind. We'll discuss them later. So the gracilis is the closest muscle to the surface on the inner part of the leg, and it goes here, attaches to the same part where the sartorius does, and then we have the semitendinosus tendon, which is connected to a muscle that's behind the leg. Yeah, there it is. But let's go down first and discuss what we have here. The main part is, of course, the cellulose muscle, on top of which the gastrocnemius goes. Here it is. We can show it like an oval. Then we have a muscle that goes from this part of the tibia diagonally and the muscle that flexes our finger, extensor digitorum, and a little bit of thinner muscles, including the one that works on the thumb. But we will simplify it a little bit first. So when we are drawing, we have first to show the tibia, and now we can attach the gastrocnemius asymmetrically. And then here we have cellulose showing up. Of course, it's above 2, but it's not shown. Fibula, tibia, and I won't go in detail about feet this time, because they're a subject of their own and have to be analyzed in depth separately. Now we can attach the rest of the muscle, but usually they are not seen. Now we have iliotibial tract, and it goes here to a muscle that engages the fascia. And there we have it, mostly. Now let's add Gracilis and the Adductor Longus. In terms of shape, we have something like this. So I'm using a section to show the volume of the form. So there we have it. Now let's discuss the view from behind. What we have here, this is the tractus iliotibialis that we mentioned before. It can be more easily seen from behind. It's a huge strip of flesh that goes like this and is attached near the lower side of the Gluteus Maximus. We can imagine Gluteus Maximus like it has a little tentacle here. On its lower side. And then the tractus iliotibialis goes here. You can also see the tensor fasciae latae, which engages the tractus. And now we have muscles here. So we have the biceps femoris, and then asymmetrically, slightly above it, we have the semitendinosus, and they together form a structure like this. And you could imagine the tractus iliotibialis to have volume, so it have a plane here and a plane on the side. And then the bicep has a plane on the side and a plane below. Because of this, we can imagine the main shape to look like this. Let's draw the Gluteus Maximus. Here it is, at pelvis, and then the tractus iliotibialis on the side of the leg. Goes like this, then goes like this. Let's add shadow here, and then we have the lower part of the leg, where the bicep is situated near the semitendinosus. So we have a form that looks like this. This part is a little bit more voluminous, a little bigger, so we can imagine that we are adding an ovaloid here, and this part is thinner. Now, on the end of these muscles, there are tendons that go to the side, and then the gastrocnemius also is divided in two and has tendons that go under these tendons. So we have a shape like this. Let's add the cellulose muscle. And the cellulose muscle can be shown to have a shape like this. We have a plane on the side and plane on the back side. Now this is the outer part of the leg, so we have fibula attaching and it sticks out here. Achilles tendon, so this is the main shape. Now on the inner side we have the Gracilis going here, here it is, and we saw Gracilis here, so we already know the connection between the view from behind and the front view. Now we have also Adductor Magnus, another adductor that is hidden behind these ones. And we have also some membranosus, but I usually unify these two shapes, because when we're drawing form, it's a little hard to divide them, just like plantaris here. So now the general shapes here follow the anatomical structure. So we follow the tendocalcaneus. Then we have the cellulose muscle on the sides. It forms planar structure like this: the front plane, the sides plane, and the sides of the leg. And then we have a huge shape of the gastrocnemius muscle, which is divided in two, but it's rarely seen like this, so it's easier to imagine that it just has a plane on its back, because a person has to do some serious sports for it to go like this, and also they have to engage the muscle. So this is it about the simplified shape. Now let's analyze the drawing. So what we have here is, we can see this person's iliac crest and the ridge of iliac bone. Here it goes. Now we can see the lower part of the abdominal muscles and the pyramidalis. Here it is, right? So we can guess the sartorius muscle connection point. Here it goes, and we actually infer it from shadows, like this shadow for example, that this here is the sartorius muscle, and we can see the tendons attachment point where the tendons of Gracilis and sartorius are going. Same here, we see the tendons, and we can kinda guess the position of the sartorius muscle. So we have this form. Now let's find the kneecap. Here it is. Now about the form of the kneecap, you can imagine it like this. It has the upper part that is wide. It has the plane that faces upside and the front plane. Now this upper part is thicker than the part below and can be imagined as divided in two. So let's add this form and show the planar structure. Here it is. And this lower part of the patella is thin, like a stone. So we can imagine the patella to be like this. Of course, the patellas in real life are not as pronounced, their form isn't this pronounced. This is an exaggeration made in order to show the form as clearly as possible. So, yeah, it's like this, and we'll show the side planes here. Yeah. Now that we've dealt with it, let's show the tendons of the muscle above it, the femoris. This form, which has this planar structure, front plane and two planes on the side. Then we have the lateral muscle, which goes like this. And the medial muscle, which forms this bulge. And then we have the femoris, which kind of divides them. And this is the iliotibial tract on the side, we can see it here. Now this little bit here is actually fat, which is beneath the kneecap, and then we have the tibial tuberosity, which can be imagined as having front plane and planes on the side. Then we have the ligament here, So you can see an angry bee here or something like that, or a futuristic helmet with eyes and a gas mask. Then we have the tendons attached on the side and a little bit of bone sticking out beneath them. Now it's pretty easy to find the tibia here. There it goes. And then what we have beneath is the Cellulose muscle and the asymmetrical shape of Gastrocnemius muscle. Let's show their planar structure like this. The polygons. Now fibula, tibia beneath it, and we have the foot. On the inside we see pretty much the same. The Cellulose muscle, the fibula sticking out, the tibia sticking out. The Gastrocnemius muscle above the cellulose kind of creates a shape like this. The tendons from the Gracilis and sartorius and other muscles, and then we have the Gracilis beneath and the adductors here. Then we have the Quadricep and the tendons of the femoris, the medial muscle below, the lateral muscle above, and the straight muscle in the middle. The patella, the tibial tuberosity, and tibia in general, and we can also show this part as the lower part of the tibia, and then the femur. So this is the main form that we're dealing with here. Now I'm pretty sure we are ready to draw. Let's clean this up, move them to the side, and start drawing. We will start making the drawing, and we will start with the silhouette of the form in its entirety. So let's show the pelvis as a simplified shape. And now let's show the silhouette of the leg. For the simplicity, we'll be drawing contrapostal, which means that the weight will be distributed mostly to one leg, and it will be the leg that is connected to the upper part, to the part of the pelvis that goes up. So we can see there's that it's rotated, and this will be the leg that has all the weight. Now we can add a guideline like this that follows our knees. This knee will be lower because the pelvis goes down here, allowing for more movement of the leg. So this here is the foot. This is the other foot. Now let's see if it works. It kinda does actually. So let's start working. First of all, we need a correct general shape. So we're working on the silhouette. And also using guidelines to show the form of the leg. Let's also show the sartorius as a strip and the adductors. Now we can use this half circle to imply the part where the iliac crest ended, and this is the part where abdominal muscles are attached. And this here is bone again. Another sartorius muscle. And here we have the adductors. Now the sartorius here goes inside the two bones. Let's imagine the bones here. One bone and second main bone. So the sartorius goes around both and attached here near the other tendons. Let's see. Let's move pelvis a little bit lower. Now we have the part of the bone sticking out here. The tibial tract and the fascia, adductor, and now let's draw this simple shape to imply only the position of the kneecap, because we need to deal with the silhouette first. Two bones connect. Like this. The asymmetrical form of the gastrocnemius muscle, the cellulose muscle here on the side, and let's show tibia like this. Let's use section to show the volume of the foot. And let's use these lines to show that it goes inside. The thumb. Three more fingers and the pinky. So we have the general shape here. And now let's deal with the other leg. So what we have here is the tibia. Here it is. Now let's move the heel, and we have the general shape of the foot. Let's draw thumb and the other fingers simplified. And this is the form that we will end up with. Now we can start describing the shapes, adding the muscle, and we will start by making the knee area of our drawing more detailed. Let's add this shape that will work as guidelines. It's a simplified shape. It doesn't exactly look like this, but it will help us to attach the muscle volumes here and help us work with the shapes in general. So what we have is the medialis, vastus medialis, the vastus lateralis, and the muscle in the middle. Now let's define the kneecap. It goes like this. Let's show the planes comprising the kneecap, the patella. Use a razor to show the light, and use the light to show the form. This here will be shaded. Again, this is mostly tendon, a little bit of fat, but mostly tendon, and then the muscle volume. And again here, and you can see another guideline go like this, around the form, around the leg, to divide in the lower and upper part of the muscle, which we then can render. Here we have fibula sticking out, and the tibia bone itself. And since we are talking about the tibia, let's show the tuberosity. Here it is, a pyramidal shape like this, and then the ligament. But of course we don't really draw the ligament, we just smash the form a little bit. Now on this leg we won't see too much fat beneath the knee. We will see way more on the leg that supports the weight, because it will be pushed out by the movement. And this line is a guideline to show the border between the upper part of the bone and the lower part of the bone. Because the bone goes like this, it gets thinner. And this is the same for the upper bone. And there we have it. The zone of the kneecap mostly defined. Now we go lower, defining the form Gastrocnemius, showing its upper and lower parts and the parts on the side. We can continue the guideline here and create another border between upper planes of the form and lower planes of the form. Let's correct the line art. And now we are moving, because it's good to always move around the form, not spend too much time in any specific part. And we are showing the volume of the adductors. Now we are talking about Gracilis, adductor, and other muscles here as one simple shape that goes like this. Because in the vast majority of the cases it's better to simplify the form and make a unified shape. It's very rarely we see those muscles separately on an actual person. So our ability to simplify form and to show the fat and the skin smoothing the form requires more exercising here. I'm pretty sure that when we see athletic legs, we usually have no trouble showing every muscle, and we did discard them. The same goes for sartorius muscle. We can draw over it because it won't be defined too much. Instead, it will just show itself as a shadow here, because our actual structure goes like this, like this, like this. And there we have the upper part and the lower part. That will define the shape some more. For example, this part of the tibia is very sharp. This part has a plane here. So we can add a triangle here, and then we add planes on the side to show how sharp it is. And this part also can be defined and divided into planes. Now again, we won't work too much with the fit, but at this point of the drawing I just need a more clearly defined form. So, like this. And that's one leg done. Let's show the volume of the iliac crest here, and also the lower part of the abdominal muscle. We'll just shade them a little bit, like this. And this guideline will help us keep in mind the shape. As well as the planar structure, because we have sides here that can be shown. Now let's continue with the second leg. Now this is the part I was talking about. This is the well-defined fat beneath the knee, as well as tendons here. So we have a form that goes like this on the upper part and on the lower part, and then we have the tuberosity. Again, we have something like an angry face here. On the outer side there will be fibula, which we won't see, and let's make the gastrocnemius muscle smaller, like this. And now I will be continuing to render. Again, we're defining the planes. So here we see three planes. The front plane, the lower plane, and the upper plane. And we've shown them. Now we need to draw the foot again, like on the other leg. So this line goes inside, showing that this is the thin part of the bone, and we can add planes on the form to show the general shape, and we can add this guideline to show that the lower part of the foot is turning away from us, like this. The fingers are actually fine, but we need a better line here. Let's draw the bone, and then the first phalange. The connection between two phalanges, and we're adding shape contrast. And now we can add other fingers. These curved guidelines helps emphasize that these fingers are long and the ones far away from us are not. So this here, and these ones we barely see. But maybe even like this. And we need to make this form have a thinner line. Same here. And now we can show the general volume, and from the point when the femur sticks out, we can actually shade the entirety of the leg, because it turns away from the light. The only part that's lighted is the upper part here. Now what remains is to show additional planes and clean up the drawing. And that's it. This is our today's study, and in the next stream I'll discuss drawing legs from behind, and we'll also add female form, which is pretty much the same but different, and we will discuss exactly how. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you are watching this on YouTube, please press like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you are not. Bye bye.